Hi there.
Hi, this is Renee. I'm the operations manager here at Gateway. Sorry, my my virtual camera or whatever isn't working right now, but
Oh, that's the worst.
I know. I just wanted to make sure that I got you set up and everything in advance, so we didn't have any issues.
Oh,
Are you okay if I make you at least the co-host until maybe more people come, and then I can mute people periodically if you need me to and stuff like that?
yeah, absolutely. So the deal is we're kind of rewriting this class as we present it
Okay.
because the material was written in 2015. So I'm going to go over that with everybody first and get their permission to kind of go off script.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll be
Perfect.
good. You want me to start admitting people?
Sure, either that or if you see them, you could do it, or if I see them, I'm happy to do it also.
Okay,
I know
perfect.
there's not a way for me to like turn off it's kind of annoying that they do this now,
Yeah.
but
Well, I'm glad they do. We've had quite a few classes taught by labs advisors that have been Zoom bombed, and it's very
oh
exciting.
really? That's super annoying. So I guess
Uh,
in that
yeah.
respect, it makes sense.
Yes,
Yeah.
very much so.
But thank you very much for teaching this class.
Yeah, you're so welcome. This will be fun. I've taught this class a little bit in person here within my own market center,
Okay.
but it's usually like a 45-minute class, and so
That's
we blow through it. So this will be fun.
cool. Do you need anything from me at all? Do you have like slides that you have probably your own stuff for sure, but
Well, so I'm using the KWU slides because I want people to see the difference between what open houses were and what they are now. And then I have my handy dandy Gary Keller
got
whiteboard
it. So,
that
I
we'll
was
be
gonna
using. So
say, awesome.
yes.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, of course. I want to make sure utilize
I would
it.
move it more like, if possible, a little more.
So it has
Yeah,
stuff written on it
exactly.
already.
That's a little
And
better
that's in
actually. I
black.
didn't know if you want the days of the week in there.
Nope.
Okay, I was like, that's perfect then, because I can't see those.
Perfect. That's the idea.
All right.
Yeah, I had to steal it from our market.
Rumor.
Like, yoink.
Yeah,
This is
exactly.
our
I'm just gonna
complete
borrow this
schedule.
really quick.
I was like, you don't need this for the next 2 hours,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
All good.
If you do, it doesn't exist.
Exactly. Oh, I should probably shut down my background apps. It's always fun. You're mid-class and end up with like crazy
Something else
notifications
pops
coming
up and
across the
you're like,
screen.
oh my God. My
Yeah,
computer
well,
usually
especially.
freezes, like when something like that happens, it'll open up like a program that never loaded and it'll freeze my whole computer. And I'm like, okay, well,
Oh, for sure.
what do I do now?
Right?
It's super annoying.
It's all good. Yeah, mine is more having the labs advisors chat pop up in the background. That's always fun when I'm sharing my screen.
Oh no.
Yeah, because we'll be like, this isn't working. This isn't working.
I've seen it
Fun.
because I used to work with Kelly Cody, and so she used to have like she'd be teaching me something, and then like her screen would always be like so busy and like notification, notification, notification. I was like, how do you get any work done? Like, it's
We
crazy.
manage. We definitely manage.
Yeah.
It is, it's a challenge to say the least.
Yeah.
I hear my phone. Probably, yeah. Oh, we're all going to run on Realtor Standard Time today.
Typical.
It happens. I'm used to it. Okay. The family knows I'm teaching. I had to come into the office so we didn't get bothered by the puppy.
Oh, really? What kind of puppy are they?
She's a Chiweenie.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she's like this big.
Mm.
She's really, really, really cute and learning how not to be a psycho.
Yeah, no. I mean, I have cats at home. They climb all over like anything, anytime there's like a meeting or anything going on. If I have to type something, they're all over my laptop. And I'm like, you guys, please, like you ignore me
Yes.
otherwise. Like, that's funny.
So one of my daughters was showing me, apparently it's a thing, cats and keyboards, because they see you
They
playing with it,
love
right?
it. It's crazy.
So someone actually made mini laptops.
Oh my God.
And you give it to your cat, and apparently the cats are actually like, oh, cool, here's my laptop, and they'll play with that one
Oh
instead.
my God. What's it called?
I have no idea. She found it.
I really want
Found
to
it
look
on
it up
TikTok
'cause I feel like
because she's 15.
that's awesome. My other cat like just lays on it because it's warm usually too.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's their way of getting us to pay attention to them,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
They're like,
Whenever
oh,
they
you're
don't
petting
agree
that?
with me.
Come pet me.
Yes. What are you typing? Who's talking to you? Like,
It's like children and telephones.
yes, fair.
Hmm.
Kitty.
They never want anything till you're on the phone,
I know. I'm gonna look up kitty keyboards.
right?
Is it a thing?
I believe so. As accurate
Because
as
what's
TikTok
coming
can
up
be
is
for.
like Hello Kitty, and I'm like, I don't want this.
Oh, let me see. I'll harass my kids when we're done here and be like, where'd you find that? Send it to me.
Oh, fine. Thank you.
Yeah,
It's so random to ask you, but
no, it's all good.
so funny.
It is all good.
I feel like
Everybody's just
they would love-
trickling in today.
Yes.
And then we got too boring for someone else. Oh, yeah. It's a lot easier to just like sneak out of a Zoom presentation than it is to get up and walk out of a room.
Yeah, of course. Because then you're like, oh, whoops, I had some issues with my my computer.
Right?
All of a
It's that,
sudden.
I can't hear you.
I
Yeah.
know. That's so funny.
It's all good. So we have this one out to 3 market centers, correct?
Yes. So this is San Jose, Campbell, and Santa Cruz.
Nice.
I
How's
know you
everybody
taught for
doing?
us before too.
What was that?
You did teach something else for us also previously,
Yes.
which I know people loved. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. I know I got quite a few new Facebook friends after that one.
There you go. I'm sure they're all like,
Right?
"What's her name?"
Well, that's where I'm like, oh, well, now I really have to like pay attention to what I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly. And now you're now you're an example.
It's all good. All they're getting is puppy spam right now.
Kitty
And
keyboards.
yes, and vintage wallpaper. That's
I
one.
would love to see your puppy. Like if I stalk you on Facebook, can I see your puppy?
Oh yeah, she's in my profile picture.
Okay, I'm gonna do it.
Her, like right here.
I love puppies.
She's really cute. She's almost 12 weeks.
Oh my God. Did you rescue her or?
Yeah, we got her from the Milo Foundation. They're based out of Richmond.
Awesome.
Fabulous. All right, so I think we're gonna wait another like 2 or 3 minutes and then we'll get started. And if people are not here, well, that's a bummer.
Oh my God, she's so cute.
You're right.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she's a little ridiculous.
Muffin.
The kids I was like, that is such like a preppy like name. What are you doing? And they're like, she's the color of a perfectly baked blueberry muffin. And I was like,
She is.
I can't argue with that.
She's so cute.
Thank you. We love her. We had to get her own Instagram because
yeah, no, I made my cat an Instagram too, so I'm guilty of that for sure.
Yeah, mostly because, otherwise people would forget I'm a realtor and just think I'm a crazy dog lady.
I know, and I mean, crazy cat ladies are all over, so I can't say that's anything new at least, though.
Exactly. I love it. All right, 1 more minute, potty break, coffee break, and then we're gonna get rolling.
Awesome. And then as you're teaching, if people try to join, then I'll work on admitting them too.
Awesome, thank you. We'll get moving. Then make sure my microphones are hidden. So I was like, it's warm, but I guess I'll wear my hair down so that you can't see them. That's what I had to do with the Jason Abrams interview. They're like, we can see your cords. Can you?
You're like, no, I don't know what else to do with them.
Right? I was like, I'll just bury them. It's fine.
That's funny.
All right, so for everyone who is here already, if you guys can go ahead and drop your name and email into the chat box, that would be super helpful. Just for me to kind of know who's here, I can look back at the transcript and see who's been able to attend and we can connect. Let's see here, we have everyone. I see no screens on, so I want to make sure we have people that are back. Oh, we got one with coffee. Well done. All right. Okay, so thank you everybody who is here. It's much appreciated. I do normally teach a class like this in person. For those of you who've seen me before, I am a very big personality, and when we're in person, I throw candy at you for participating, and I can't throw candy through the screen. I apologize. However, I'm really glad that you're here, and I do really enjoy participation. Otherwise, it's kind of like talking to myself in the bathroom mirror. So participation is super helpful, and I appreciate you all being here. So for those who don't know me, my name is Danielle Willis. I am an agent up here in Sonoma County, California. So I'm not too far north from you guys. I actually grew up down in Fremont and then moved back up here when I was 18. Met my husband about 2 months later, and the rest is history. I've got licensed about 5 years ago. I interviewed with 8 different brokerages before I decided where to land, and Keller Williams was it. And I've been here ever since. Aside from being an agent in our top 20 here in our market center, I'm ALC as well as a labs advisor. So you will see me in the KW Command Facebook group. I'm the mean one who deletes things when they turn into a dumpster fire, and try and answer as many questions as possible in there. So with all of that being said, we are here to talk about open houses. Okay, now we're going to go through, I'm going to share my screen. We're going to go through the slides. Now I want you to know this is a KWU approved course. I am not a KWU trainer. I haven't gone through those steps yet. However, we are going to go through and use the information that is provided by KWU. It was written in 2015. Now, do you guys think that open houses and the business has possibly changed since 2015? Maybe just a little bit. Yeah, okay. So if you will grant me your permission, we are going to not only go with what has been given to us, but I'm going to go off script a little bit and give you what works now. And we're also going to dive a little bit into how to deal with open houses in the time of COVID in California, where you can't do open houses. So do I have your permission to go off script today? Yeah, all right, great, thank you, I appreciate it. So without further ado, for those who are still here and haven't, please plop your names and emails into the chat box, and we are gonna get rolling here, sharing our screens. So like I have the puppy with me. Okay, so I purposely came to the office in order to avoid dealing with the puppy. For those of you who are not yet my Facebook friends, go on there, find her. She's adorable. Her name is Muffin. She's tiny and cute and loud, which is why I'm in the office today. So we are here for power session number 7, open houses. Have you guys all been through the previous power sessions? I trust we're going in order. Yes? Maybe? Yes?
Some yes, and some are
yes.
newer. Like they come into certain sessions, but
I've been through a couple of them.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. And I think it's really, really great that you guys are actually jumping through and being able to have different people come in and teach, because it's really nice to not hear Charlie Brown's mom teaching you every time, want, right? So the idea here, again, this is all from 2015, so this is how open houses work. We're gonna go through an introduction. I'm going to skip around. I hope that's okay with you. All right, arrive on time. Well, a couple of you caught that one. Good job. Candy for you. We're not going to have breakout groups because there's not really that many of us here, but I really would love some participation. Limiting side conversations, that's about the chat, ladies and gentlemen. We always love the side convos in the chats. However, let's make sure and share with everybody else. Try and take away any distractions you might have, whether it's the kids, the puppy, the coffee maker, the laundry, or your cell phone, which is always our favorite. And then we're going to have fun with this. So First things first, I would love for you to be able to tell me what kind of lead generation activities you are currently using. You can unmute yourself, pipe up, and let me hear what you are currently using for your lead generation strategies.
I'm using Prospect now, and I'm considering reevaluate.
Okay, all right. Anybody else? Are we just not lead generating at all? We've given up on it? Or everybody's asleep. Okay, that's fine. We'll move on. It's the, I'm going to pretend that I was there and I'll watch the recording later. That's fine. So the reality is a lot of people are using lead generation activities that they've never used before. I know I personally built my business through Facebook, and I did a lot of open houses because I really like open houses. I miss open houses. Now, can you guys do them down there yet? Are they allowed? They are not. Okay. That's a bummer. Okay, so we're gonna basically go through now. It's weird, I know. I'm a labs advisor. It's all about tech. And at the same time, we're gonna use a Gary whiteboard. I hope that's okay with you. That's a Gary flip chart, technically. So as you know, we're going to split it down the middle, and we're gonna do the old way, and we're gonna do the new way. Both are good.
We can't hear you when you turn around.
Oh,
We can hear you, but we can't hear you when you turn around away from the mic.
that's weird. The mic's right here.
That's weird.
That is very strange. Okay. Well, thanks for letting me know. Okay. So can you hear me okay aside from that, though?
Yeah.
Okay. That's very odd. All right.
That's what I
Can you
thought.
see the whiteboard at all?
Oh, yeah.
Can you read it?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So what we're going to do is we're basically going to break this down into the old way of doing open houses because it could happen again, right? And the new way, which is online. So we're going to go over both of those, and that's where we're going to skip around just a little bit. All right. As we go through, why would you do open houses, right? You're basically turning your haven't mets into mets. It's a great, great way to meet new clients, right? Is it fair to say that both buyers and sellers go to open houses?
Everyone goes.
Everybody goes.
Especially
The nosy
neighbor,
neighbor.
especially neighbors.
Yep. Seller's dad, seller's cousin, whatever. They obviously are a great, easy, fast way to build a business, right? So it's been said that you have time or you have money. You rarely have both, right? So for agents who are not looking to spend money on leads, open houses are a great way to get those leads. All right, this is where you are in the whole course. We're gonna skip through to this. So buyers and sellers, are you there to just pick up buyers when you're in an open house, or are you there to pick up sellers as well?
You're actually there to pick up a listing and a buyer.
Exactly, that is ideal, right? So this is what they think about open houses. Now, again, to bring it up to modern day. Basically what we're looking at currently is buyers and sellers have different opinions about open houses. Buyers think that they're going to walk into an open house because they want to get decorating tips. They want to get an idea of, you know, what they could buy within that price range. They want to see if they're going to catch a deal. And often they want to see that if they talk to the listing agent that they might get a discount. That's what we're seeing in a lot of the open houses. Are you seeing things similar to that?
That's very common here.
Okay, excellent. Now sellers, when they visit open houses, they tend to be looking for, most of the time, comparables. They want to see what it looks like because they might be thinking about selling their house, often by themselves, right? They're there to pick up information about what you're doing to market the home because then they can try and duplicate, right? R&D, rip off and duplicate. Okay, now, as it comes through, these stats show us that previously, 5 years ago, 5 buyers used the agent from the open house, right? 39 out of 100 would leave unrepresented or represented by another agent. Now, are you seeing, I'd love to know from your area, are you seeing when we could do open houses again, are you seeing them come in already represented by agents, or are they coming in by
They may
themselves?
not always tell you that. They may not always tell you that, but everybody here knows a realtor, and it's probably used more than one.
Absolutely. That's always
Competition is
exciting.
very key. The competition is
Yes. Yeah, we have a very similar issue here. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, we're going to take a look at the best open house ever. Okay, so I'm going to start out. I'm going to tell you about the absolute hands down by the numbers best open house I ever held. And the best thing is it wasn't in a super high price point, but it wasn't super cheap. I've sold everything from a $27,000 mobile home in a senior park all the way up to $1 million properties and everything in between. This was a run-of-the-mill original, and I'm talking original carpet, laminate, linoleum, the crackled mirrors on the walls, wallpaper from the 70s, never been updated. It was amazing.
it had to be the location.
It was phenomenal. So we all know that there are certain things that you can do, right, to make your listings better, right? You can do things to make your listings sell better, and you can market them appropriately. Now, obviously, it's about price, it's about location. However, holding the ultimate open house, whether it's your listing or not, is key. So what we're going to look at is what we did for that one in particular. Now, we did go around and door knocked 120 houses around that house 3 days before. We also created door hangers. Now, we did in fact create those door hangers through command with designs. And this was, of course, gosh, I want to say this was 9 or 10 months ago. So it's been around. They're really, really easy. Now we're going to come back to those door hangers in a little bit, but I do want to tell you that's part of what we did. Now, there are a couple of different ways that you can go about getting people to answer their door and getting them to listen to the information that you have. You absolutely will have people open the door, slam the door in your face, tell you to take your garbage with you.
We can't door knock.
You're not allowed to door knock at all?
You can drop things at the door.
Okay, that works.
You can drop things, but you can't.
You can drop things. Cool, that's okay. All right, that's good to know. We'll go with it, right? Our job is to go with the flow, right? So we're gonna go with that. Now, we went around 120 doors around. It took us 2 sessions to hit all 120 doors. We did door knock the ones that we missed. We went around the second day. And then we held the open house. We had plenty of signage. The results from that open house, we had 103 parties, not individuals, 103 parties come through that property. Let's see here. It was 72 signed in. I had to pull my notes to make sure. We had 72 actually sign in and give us information. A lot of them did give us their realtor's information, which was fine. And from that, we closed a sale. We closed one buyer, and we received another listing for a property that was twice the price on that one from that open house. That's in 3 hours. That's not too shabby, right? So those were the results from that. I'd love to hear the most amazing open house that one of you has ever held. What do you got for me?
I had one in Almaden about 6 months, 7 months ago. Mm-hmm. I had 80 people through on a Sunday, 80 groups, and 40 through on a Saturday. We took an offer for $150,000 over asking. That's
brilliant.
And if you knock the neighborhood, which I did, and almost no one opens a door here. They
okay.
Doors, but they all knew about the open house. So that was, and it was also because the location in Almaden, it wasn't overpriced, and so it's unusual here to get in it prior to COVID, but it's not unusual for many people, and it's still now continuing for well-priced listings getting anywhere from 10 to 35, 40 offers. In fact, I know someone who just recently sold a property for $357,000 over asking, and she said, wow. The worst call she ever made was to all the people that offered $250,000 over to tell them they weren't in the top 10.
Ouch.
So in Silicon Valley, the comment is we have millionaires buying condos.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of at least a third of the offers that are coming in are all cash. It's an incredible number that I wish it wasn't so. But for anybody else that's getting, that's just going out and getting a loan and getting pre-qualified, they really have to be on their toes to compete with an all-cash offer.
Very definitely. We're seeing some of that here, and we're actually seeing some people come up from your area up here because it's cheaper, right? And they can telecommute. People who are able to work from home, we're seeing them come up from the Bay.
Everybody's leaving the high rent districts. And so whether you live in New York City and Manhattan, or you live downtown San Francisco, all those high density elevator buildings, pretty small hallway buildings, people are leaving. And also this exodus is going to continue for some time because we have a kind of a hybrid employment environment. So many people will not be able to work entirely from home, but they'll do a partial, it'll be a hybrid, but for sure a lot. In fact, right now, the hottest real estate market is Tahoe, because everybody thought, well, if they can telecommute and they got a T1 line, they'll all live in Tahoe. So there's a friend of mine that lives on one street there, and 39 of the other houses are owned as second homes. They're all coming up for sale.
Wow.
The market there is like nothing anybody's ever seen.
That's amazing.
Markets, it's just crazy.
That is absolutely amazing. That is absolutely wild. Oh man. Well, the good news is, you know, the market continues, right? It continues to fluctuate, right? We're going to see it be crazy for now. We'll see it come down after our fires. We had people, you know, climbing over each other, offering all cash, no contingencies, no inspections, with ridiculous amounts over. And we have come back to a new normal. So, you know, we all still need to know how to hold our open houses and get that exposure for our clients so we can get the $350,000 over asking all cash, right?
Actually, I'm hoping that that doesn't continue, because it's just going to shut out so many of the buyers at all the other lower tiers that it's going to be a very exclusive club for home ownership, and we're hoping that it doesn't happen that way.
Absolutely. Well, don't forget, when they decide they want to move somewhere else, send them up to Sonoma County and give them my number.
Okay.
All right. So let's move on. We've got the myth that open houses are only for new agents that are looking for buyers. The reality is, I'm serious when I say I miss doing open houses. They are fabulous for established agents. It's a great way to not only represent your seller, but it is also a great way to pick up those buyers and pick up new listings. And that's what we're going to really make sure that we're paying attention to. Now, of course, if you don't have your own listings, right, we all go through those slumps. We have a lot of people who've chosen to stay home and stay safe during COVID, and they have not been getting listings, and they're going, oh no, what are we going to do? Well, you can host either in person when we get back to it, or currently we can host online open houses for other agents. All you got to do is call, right? Any listing agent worth his salt is going to absolutely let you advertise their listing because it's free. Okay, so it's a win-win for all parties. Now, the idea that an agent sits at an open house versus working an open house. Now, I have seen both. Okay, the in-person version of that is showing up, putting out some cookies, napkins if you remember, and then sitting at the dining table playing on your phone. Hey, how's it going? Come on in. I have walked into open houses as a buyer, right? And I have seen agents watching football. I have walked in and seen them on the phone having a conversation and just waved me through. I had time to walk the entire house and leave before they ever got my name, whether they knew I was an agent, asked me if I had an agent. They lost money, right? So that's sitting in open house. Now, working in open house is a whole different ball of wax, and we're going to go over that. Now, the online version of that, the COVID version of that, is hosting something on, say, Facebook or YouTube, right? Or TikTok if you're extra savvy, right? Or you enlist your teenagers to help you. Posting it and then not doing anything about it, right? Just throwing it up there and leaving it alone. It's the 3 Ps, right? It's put the sign in the yard, put it in the MLS, and pray someone else sells it. That is the same concept as sitting an open house, whether it's in person or virtual. So there is a story that they go into here, but basically it talks about finding results from open houses, people who are doing 5 and 6 homes. Now, me personally, I have yet to have the energy or mental capacity to pull that off. However, it is not unreasonable to be able to do 3 or 4 in one day virtually, right? And we'll go into how we schedule those and all of that in a little bit. All right. We know that they produce buyers and sellers. Now they talk about setting goals. I'll admit, I'm human. I don't set goals for my open houses. And I think that's something that might be an opportunity for growth for myself. My goal has always simply been to simply get as many people as I can through without an actual number goal, and to make at least one connection. So I guess I have a goal, right? Maybe I need to rethink those. You do everything you can to get as many people as you can there, consistently hold them, and then you can obviously team up with others to hold multiples. Is anyone here on a team, or is everybody an individual agent?
I'm not on a team. I don't know anybody else.
Okay, all right. Oh, I heard someone else.
On a team.
You're on a team? Excellent. Hi. Oh my goodness, there are other humans. That's so exciting. I mean, not that I don't love you, Lee, but it's great to see other faces. Okay, so tell me, what position do you play on your team?
Fairly new to San Jose Gateway, so just really getting started within the last week or so.
Welcome.
Just excited to get to learn and everything.
Brilliant. Okay, cool. And how about for you? Let's see, Ellen, is that how you say your name?
Yeah, that's how you say it. I just
didn't
joined
ruin it.
week. Thank
Oh,
you.
awesome. Okay.
Yes, well, I've never done an open house, never sat in one, and joined at a pretty weird time with COVID being the circumstances. So I'm just trying to learn as much as I can at the moment.
Beautiful. Well, you joined at a great time. I can honestly tell you, joining and getting into real estate in a time that's weird is actually beneficial. My first transaction was my hardest transaction ever. Anything that could go wrong did go wrong. I mean, everything. And you know what? Every other transaction since then has been a walk in the park, right? Because you set those expectations at the beginning. So for you coming in at a very odd time and dealing with things that you normally wouldn't deal with, it's going to teach you to step up to that adversity and to learn how to be adaptable early on. So when it does get easier, you're going to be like, I started in the middle of COVID. What you got? Right? So you're going to be just fine. Okay, so if you are on a team, right, you need to think about what the leader of your team, your main agent is looking for. So it's important that you're asking those questions and setting realistic expectations for yourself and understanding what those expectations are from the leader of your team, okay, from your lead agent. All right, let's see here. So the open house model, you gotta love this. I mean, seriously, the graphics. So the concept is, and I actually like to use the foundation of a home as an example for a lot of things. I really like making comparisons, and I do have a construction background, so I use this a lot. Basically, you can't get to the roof until you have the rest of the house built, right? You have to start with the foundation, and that's preparing and promoting. Right now, we're going to go into the details of that in a little bit because they've got this. I swear, guys, this is like 65 pages worth of information that I'm supposed to feed to you. So we're, like I said, going off script. You do need to prepare and promote. If you don't prepare and you don't promote your open house, whether it's in person or online, you are wasting your time. Okay? So if you don't put that foundation down, you're setting yourself up for failure. As you hold the open house, you do need to qualify your leads. You do need to build trust. Now, how you do that is up to you. I'm going to give you some tips and techniques on how to do that, both in person and online. And then here's the thing. So many agents, all right, let me get on the soapbox for a second here. So many agents go to an open house. They sit the open house. They spend the time and they talk to the people and they build the rapport and they fail to follow up. They leave the open house. I'm done. That was a good open house. See you next week. Guys, you are shooting yourself in the foot. You are throwing money away if you do not follow up with those leads.
Right, right.
Okay? If you get nothing else from today, take that with you. It's all in the follow-up. Now, then of course the top is be the #1 market agent. Ooh, everybody wants to be #1, okay? I mean, honestly, as long as you're the best agent you can be, that's where I take my, my motivation from, okay? It's not about competing with other people. It's about competing with yourself and doing the best that you can for yourself and your clients. Now, Preparing and promoting. All right, we talked about that whole setting open house goals thing. So you can choose to do that. If you do, you need to decide, you know, my goal is to tell 100 people about this house ahead of time. My goal is to get at least 10% of those people to show up. Now, I don't know if you've heard this. For some reason, this sticks in my brain as an odd fact. So if you are throwing a party, okay, an open house is kind of like a party. If you invite 100 people, random 100 people, only about 5 or 10 are going to show up.
Right.
Is that a fair assessment?
Yes.
Okay, so it's the same thing with open houses. All right, so I want you to set realistic expectations for yourself, because there's nothing worse than that whole shoot for the moon, you'll land in the stars. No, the moon is closer, you're not gonna land amongst the stars, you're gonna end up burning up in the ozone, okay? Set realistic expectations, all right? So if you invite 100 people to that open house, plan on 5 or 10 showing up, okay? Decide which houses to hold open. So you really need to stop and think about this for a moment, okay? Now, if it's not your listing, you gotta make the decision. I made this mistake early on. I was like, ooh, they let me hold an open house and it's listed at $950. Yes. Yeah, no. Here's the part that I didn't know was that that house had been on the market for 4 months. That it had been held open every weekend for the last 2 months. How many people do you think I got through that open house? I sat by myself doing nothing. I played on my phone. I took a video. It's actually one of the reasons that I started doing walkthrough videos and posting them online, because I had nothing better to do. I stumbled into it. So really do your research. If you're going to be holding houses open for other agents, ask the questions, okay? It's just like deciding what brokerage you're going to land with. You're hiring them too, okay? This is a partnership. So, Mr. Agent, you have a listing that, you know, that I'd like to hold open. I see that it's listed at a price point that I think is fair. I've run the comps and I think it's properly priced, and it hasn't been held open every weekend, and it hasn't been on the market forever. Now, it sounds like that's not a real issue down where you guys are right now, but I'm sure that at some point there has been and probably will be a time that you may run into that and run into properties sitting on the market. You have a question?
Yeah, so do you have like a certain minimum threshold of, okay, so this has been open for the past 2 weeks, I don't want to get involved in that, or if it's been open for the past 4 months for that example, or more than a year, is there like a minimum threshold, or do you have requirements that you have to meet in order to open that or not to hold it?
So I'm going to answer the way I'm not supposed to answer, which is I go with my gut. I take my experience and I think about it. Now, what I will say is you need to truly look at it. And if you run all of the numbers and you go, okay, this house has been held open for the last 2 weeks by different agents, and their results weren't great. However, I know it's priced really, really well, and I know that it's only been on the market for 4 weeks, right? It's been held open for 2. Maybe what's going wrong with it? Why isn't it selling? Why isn't it getting a lot of people through the open house? Perhaps, okay? Perhaps I can do something different. Now, you can do a couple of different things. You can have a conversation with the listing agent and say, hey, here's the deal. I want to hold the best open house ever. Is your client thinking about reducing the price at all? Have they thought about that? Is that a conversation that you're having? If it is, could you possibly reduce the price the day before the open house? Because what happens when they reduce the price? It jumps back up to the top of everybody's MLS feed. It pops up as a price reduction on the big Z who shall not be named, right? It does all of those different things, so you're going to drive extra traffic anyway. Okay, now if they're not thinking about it, you're obviously not going to ask them to reduce their price just for your open house. However, if it's a conversation they were having anyway, wouldn't that be great timing? The answer is always no if you don't ask. Okay? Other things that could be happening, those other agents could have been sitting in open house versus working an open house. Maybe they didn't lay that foundation of preparing and promoting properly. Maybe they used signs that blew over in the wind so nobody actually saw them. Maybe they didn't advertise it at all except for in the MLS. Maybe I have experienced this. The listing agent waits until the night before the open house to put it in the MLS. You know what happens when they wait till the night before? It's not anywhere.
No, it doesn't go anywhere.
Right? Okay, so you need to put your brain in the mind of a buyer, right? Like, get your mindset in the mind of a buyer. Buyers are excited. They know it's a hot market, right? They know that they have to make it to the open houses, and they're going to plan, just like we would for showing, they're going to plan which houses they're going to see in what order so that they can fit them all into that 1 to 4 threshold that everybody seems to have. We're going to talk about that later. Okay, so they're planning. So they're probably going to do that the day before or even 2 days before. So if your open house isn't put in until the night before your open house, guess what? They didn't see it. And now you're relying on balloons and signs. Make sense? Okay. All right. So decide which houses that you're going to hold open. Okay. If you are not interested in being in the condo market, don't go hold a condo open, because you're going to find condo buyers. And then you're going to end up in that cycle of, well, but I have all these buyers, but I really don't want to be in this price point, but I have all the buyers, so I have to be in the price point. It's frustrating. Same deal with mobile homes. Speak from experience. I lived in the mobile home world for a while because my first listing was an overpriced mobile home in a senior park. It was very exciting. It took me 6 months to sell it. It was very fun. Needless to say, I held some amazing open houses, and I ended up with some wonderful, sweet, kind, long-term mobile home buyers. So it took me a while to get out of there. I do still sell them. If you have any mobile home buyers or sellers up in the area, I am actually quite an expert by default. So you are also going to ideally stage the house. Okay, we're talking about in person right now, guys. When you show up to the house, you need to keep in mind, first of all, if people still live there, don't touch their stuff. Don't make it weird, right? Now, if they left some things on the counter and you want to get them out of the way, by all means, put them in a cupboard, but you darn well better put them back when you're done, okay? If you have to, take a video of the house when you first walk in so you know where everything goes. So then if you move a chair 6 inches to the left, when you leave, you can move it 6 inches to the right, okay? Little tiny things, but do not walk in and move stuff around. You better get permission from that listing agent, because let me tell you, unless you're a stager or an interior designer, they probably know better than you do right now, okay? Myself included, I'm a terrible decorator. Okay, the only time I move stuff is to make it look pretty and clean, or to make sure that there's walking space. All right, now you need to prepare to build relationships. It doesn't automatically happen. So, okay, to prepare to build relationships, you gotta do things like look nice and smell nice, but not too much, okay? You need to prepare to be welcoming, right? You need to stage yourself and also make sure that you are inviting. So if you're standing right by the door, hi, welcome to my open house, sign in. Are you preparing to build relationships? No, you're creepy and they're gonna wanna turn around and leave, okay? Think about it. When you walk into the home, look at the home. Look at where your eye first goes. That's where your flyers are going to go. Maybe that's where your treats are going to go. And you're going to sit close by, but not close enough to sneeze on the cookies and make them inedible. Okay? Okay. You're also going to prepare to be your neighborhood and market expert. That means doing your research, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Nothing worse than an agent who knows nothing about the neighborhood holding the open house. Because when that buyer walks in, they've probably seen every open house that's been held for the last month in that neighborhood. Is that fair?
That's fair.
Mm-hmm. So they're gonna say, oh my God, did you see Sally's house down the street? It was the one with the shag green carpeting. You darn well better know which house had the shag green carpeting. Oh my gosh, I know, I saw that. Isn't it amazing how vintage? She kept that so well maintained. Whatever it is, spin it to a positive, okay? All right, and last but not least, okay, I only see guys on my screen right now. However, it doesn't matter if you are male or female. You have to be safe at your open houses. Now, I'll tell a story for a second. Our OP tells us this. She probably tells us every 6 months because it's this important. She went and did a showing for someone. She was holding the open house, and she's there, and she sees the person park their car in front of the driveway. Her car was in the driveway at the time, which don't ever park in the driveway, by the way. But she sees a car parked in front of the driveway. It's blocking her car in. She goes, well, that's rude, but it doesn't hit her yet, right? Guy comes in. She kind of gets the heebie-jeebies. Long story short, he was not a good human. He was not there to buy a house. He was not there to interview an agent. He was there to take advantage of someone who was there by themselves. Guys, when we put those open house signs out, okay, you are literally saying, hi, this is me, and I'm gonna be here for this time frame. Come see me, okay? You have to be safe about it. When you go in, you need to understand and find your exit points. You need to make sure that your car is not in the driveway and not easily blocked in. If you feel safer about it, carrying a stun gun, right, a taser, which are legal. The ones that shoot out and zap people, those ones aren't. However, the ones that are simply in a compact handheld are absolutely legal in California. Pepper spray is an option, or simply knowing that you have someone with you. I am 100% guilty of hosting open houses alone. A lot. I did it a lot. For those of you who are new, I want you to write this down. You need to make friends with a couple of lenders, okay? Make friends with lenders. Make sure that you have lenders that you are good enough friends with, that if your lender that you set up to sit with you gets the stomach flu, been there, done that, that you can call them up and go, dude, I need you. Don't sit an open house alone. I don't care who you are, how tough you think you are. There have been enough injuries and enough deaths at open houses that you have to take that seriously. Okay? All right, I'll stop mothering you now and we'll move on. Okay, so preparing for your open house, this talks about the goals. I'm not gonna read them off to you. You can read. I will be happy to send you the slides if you would like. If you dropped your email in the comments, then I will definitely do that. But basically, you need to have an idea of what your goals are for that open house. Okay, deciding which ones you're gonna hold. High traffic areas, great. Now, of course, this all has to do with in-person, right? Understanding the traffic. Now, let's talk about houses that are not in high traffic areas. Guess what? Online, that doesn't matter. Virtual open houses, you can't tell how busy the street is, right? So we don't have to worry about that piece. With that, it is more worrying about when you're talking about virtual open houses. When you're choosing it, it better have great photography, okay? Ideally, it's gonna have a 3D tour available to you, right? Either Matterport or some other type of 3D tour. Nothing better than someone going, look at my, my virtual walkthrough, and it's just the picture going like this and like that. That's not a virtual walkthrough. Okay, sorry, I digress. And then understanding the neighborhood, choosing one that's in a great neighborhood for you to be able to be looking for your buyers and sellers, okay? All right, staging the house. We've talked about this. If this is your own listing, obviously you're gonna talk to your seller about curb appeal. You're gonna talk to them about hiding the cat box. That is the #1 thing you move, by the way. If there's a cat box, hide that sucker. As long as the cat's not currently in the house at the moment, put it somewhere where they can't see it and smell it, okay? And then obviously you wanna have your sellers going through a checklist ahead of time, knowing that they need to close the toilet, make sure everything smells good but not overpowering, and then obviously hiding the cat box. taking all of their personal expensive items out of the house. Virtually, that doesn't matter. However, if you are hosting a virtual open house, this is something to write on the new way, right? I'm not going to write over there because apparently you guys can't hear me over there. But in the new version, right, you need to be looking at, can you see anything that would make this home a target? Okay, gun safes, right? Anything that shows the kids. You're going to be hosting these virtually. You're going to be putting these out to the public. So if you can see items that would make your seller a target, we ideally don't want to use video or pictures of those items. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay, perfect. Now, when you're doing an in-person open house, I tell every single seller, whether they're mine or not, hey, I'm going to be holding an open house and I can't be everywhere at once. I'm going to be here. My lending partner is going to be here. However, you have more than 2 rooms in your home, please make sure to take all prescription medications, any valuable jewelry, anything that's easy to pick up and shove in your pocket, please take it with you, lock it in your car. Okay, that includes pet medications, by the way. Okay, these are really, really important pieces that they need to be taking those things with them, because ultimately you are responsible for that. I've had more than one open house where they left their collection of Rolexes beautifully displayed on the dresser, and I'm like, well, all right, they didn't. I tucked them away, I put them in their box, I put them in a drawer, closed it up, and I just put it back when I was done holding the open house and made it look exactly the same. It was for their safety. Okay. All right, preparing to build relationships, you do need to think about how you talk to these people, right? So really, really great icebreakers. How did you find the open house today? Right? What does that tell you when you ask them how they found your open house? Tells you whether your advertising's working. Yeah. Yep. There you go, right? It tells you if your advertising is working. If you put an ad in Craigslist, ran a Facebook ad through Command, did a social post on Instagram, and put it in the paper, because I think people still do that last one, and everyone tells you that they saw it on Instagram, are you going to spend your money on the other things for your next open house? Probably not, right? It's all trial and error, figuring out what works for you and your advertising in your area in this market. Okay? Okay. So asking them how they found the open house. You can ask that when you do a virtual open house as well. How did you find us? Now you're going to do it through Zoom or something similar. And we're going to go into that a little bit later. And you can ask them to drop their information in the comment box, right? Let me know how you found us. Okay, same idea. The next question, and it's taken me a while to really perfect this one, is do you have an agent who I should notify that you've been through this home? It's a professional courtesy that we let them know that their clients have been here. Did you catch that?
Very good.
I hope you wrote it down. Okay. The reason is, Lee, role play with me for just a second.
Sure.
Hi, sir. Nice to meet you. I'm Danielle. Thanks so much for coming to the open house. How did you find us today?
Well, I found it on your Instagram post, and I was very interested because of what you said about the home.
Awesome. Do you have an agent?
I do. He's not here with me today.
Oh, okay. Do you know his name?
Yes. It's Lee.
Perfect.
He just joined this company called Keller Williams, and he's just been a flake since I met him.
Oh, that's a bummer. Now, did you notice his first answer was yes? Okay, so let's step out of this for just a second. In sales, let's face it, folks, you are in sales. Okay, it's not just about looking at pretty houses. It's not just about showing houses. You are in sales. And in sales, you are going to be asking lots of questions. You have to ask specific types of questions. They are called open-ended questions. I really hope you guys already know this, but we have a few new people, so I'm going to make sure that we understand it. Okay, asking a yes or no question, you're leaving it to a yes or no answer, and that's it. And then you have to ask a follow-up question, and it feels like you're prying and weird. You're not building a relationship, you're selling them. Okay? Now, if you ask an open-ended question, Which realtor are you working with? I'd love to reach out to them. Do you have an agent who I can call, right? If they say no, right? Oh, that's awesome. I'd love to audition for the position.
Or
right?
say they're just looking. Again, that's a huge opportunity, because even if they have an agent, what they may be doing is previewing agents. And if
Yes.
that's the case, you have this opportunity to sell yourself, your professional, your market knowledge, and why you're the one they should select.
Absolutely. So that also dives into the piece when they say, yes, they have an agent. All too often, agents who are sitting open houses go, cool, and that's it. Let me know if you have any questions. And they go back to playing on their phone, right? Just because they have an agent, according to what they say, half the time they don't know their name, if they really do have an agent, right? Or their agent is their brother, who they don't plan on using anyways, because that would make Thanksgiving weird, right?
Or
maybe they do.
Yeah, or they don't want you to give them the elevator pitch, and you should have a form of it disguised in your typical presentation so they understand that you're an effective agent and maybe they should use your services.
Exactly. That's why building a relationship is so important. It's asking the open-ended questions and truly understanding who they are and finding a connection. Now, full disclosure, guys, this is way harder virtually. Okay? There is something to be said for being able to connect one-to-one in person. Because if they start to walk to the backyard, you can walk to the backyard with them, right? Whereas virtually, if they shut off their camera, you don't know if they're even looking at what you're showing them. You don't know if they're participating. You don't know if they're actually like sitting there with their agent, like sitting and learning what you're doing. They could be off making a cup of coffee. You have no clue, okay? It is significantly harder virtually. So we're going to cover a few things to make sure that we get people to engage. Okay, it is all about asking those questions, and you need to role play ahead of time. For those of you who are on a team, your fellow teammates should be doing this with you so that you guys are all brushing up on that. Okay, preparing to be the market and neighborhood expert. Figure out what you need to know about the area. Ask the neighbors if you know the neighbors. If you could door knock, obviously you would. If you happen to live in the neighborhood, maybe you know. And you want to kind of put it all together. Now, for virtual open houses, the flyers, the information packets, do not have them readily available and put them on the screen. You are going to email those to people. Why?
You want to get their email address, and you want to have an opportunity to talk to them. You want to have a second contact.
Exactly. Okay. So it's going to give you an opportunity to reach out to them and follow up. Okay. Okay. So you're going to put that together. You guys know how to do that. Let's see here. You need to think about what buyers want to know. You want to think about what the sellers want to know. Obviously, sellers want to know how you sell a house, right? And this is literally an audition, right? If they walk in and you're like, sign in, sign in, sign in, it gives you commission breath, and nobody likes that, right? If it's, give me your email, give me your phone number.
Breath. I've never heard that before. I like that. Commission breath.
Really?
I've never heard it before.
It's a very commonly used one up here. So they can smell it on you, right? Just like dogs smell fear. It's true. Think about it just for a second, right? If you think about it, you can tell the hungry agents, the ones who are desperate for that next paycheck because they're not going to make rent. You can feel it, right? The goal is to, first of all, not be in that position. However, if you're at that point where you don't know if you're going to have enough to buy the next set of ramen so you can eat next week, right? Because we've all been there at some point. Your clients should never know that, ever, okay? So it needs to be all about them, coming from contribution, giving as much information as you can while establishing the relationship and finding common ground, okay? If they instantly start talking about their dog, dude, you better love dogs, and if you don't, you better figure out how, right? If they talk about their kids, you better know about the schools, okay? If the schools in the area suck, you better know what charter schools are available, Make sense? Okay. Buyers and sellers both want information from you. They're both looking to possibly hire you, and that's your goal here. Okay, we've gone, I went through this early because it really is that important. It is important to me also to let people know where I am. I actually give my husband the address, the flyer, so he has the picture. He knows where I'm gonna be, and he knows what time I'm gonna be done. I also check in when I get there, and I check in when I leave, not only with him, but with the listing agent. Now, that's not only for safety. Please, if you are hosting for another agent, you close up, you pick up your signs, and then you get on the phone and you call and you report what's going on. I'm sure that's covered further down, but please follow up with the agent. Okay. Come on. There we go. Okay. Prospecting. All right. Do you know the difference between prospecting and marketing? Anybody?
Barely.
Barely? Okay. All right. Basically, marketing costs money. Prospecting is free. Make sense? Okay. Marketing is going to cost you, your dollars, and prospecting is going to cost you your time, right? Time or money, you rarely have both. Okay. So, prospecting, you're looking for leads. You're actively out trying to get them, whether that is calling around the neighborhood. Are you guys allowed to do that out there?
If you're going to call, you have to get the phone number scrubbed against the do not call list. It takes an SAN number. You can call, but you got to make sure they're not on the do not call list.
So you want my my little thing that gets around that?
Sure.
I do this when door knocking and calling. I don't invite them to the open house. I let them know that we're going to be holding an open house nearby, and I just wanted you to know there's going to be more traffic in the area. So if you have dogs or little kids, just know that there's going to be extra cars around. Just wanted to let you know so that your family stays safe. That's it. I have actually found
that gets you around it?
Yeah. I'm not selling them anything. I'm not inviting them to the open house. I'm letting them know as a courtesy. The seller asked me to let you know for your safety, there's going to be way more traffic. We've really, really advertised like the crap out of this house. And we've done a ton of marketing, and we're expecting a lot of people through this home. The last open house we held, we had over 100 parties. So I just want you to know there's going to be more traffic in the neighborhood. It'll only be from 1 to 3. I'm not inviting them. I'm not selling them anything. I'm not door knocking. I'm not prospecting. I'm doing a service and letting them know, and I'm coming from contribution.
And it's a disclosure.
Feel free to run it by your attorney, your broker, all of the things.
Okay.
Right? I'm simply letting you know because there's going to be more traffic. Now, that doesn't work when you're doing the online ones because there's not going to be extra traffic, right? Might bog down their internet a little, but no. However, when you're doing in person, I actually found a lot that it was, sorry, just got a phone call and it totally distracted me. It's one of my kids. I told you guys to turn yours off, didn't I? Anyway, I have found that when you're in the neighborhoods where people want to slam their door, right? You're dressed nice, you're holding door hangers, you knock on that door and they go, we don't want any. Oh, no, I don't want to bother you. I'm just letting you know that there's going to be some more traffic in the area. Here's what's going on. It's only from this time to this time. I just wanted you to be aware. And if you have anything, if you have any questions, my number is here. Just feel free to give me a call and then walk away. Okay. Again, run it by your local attorney, your broker, get permission, all of the things. However, I have found that to be a practice that works. Okay. Call your Mets. People that you know that might be interested in living that neighborhood, right? Whether they do or don't, they might know someone who does, right? And that works really, really, really well for your virtual. Virtual open houses, it is going to be when you're posting it on your Instagram and your Facebook, you're doing that on your personal pages and your personal accounts. So that is reaching out to your Mets, right? And it's going to be all about letting them know, hey, I'm hosting this open house. It's, you know, invite only. So I want to make sure that, you know, we only have so much room within the Zoom room. So, you know, I want you to let, if you know anyone who might be interested, please let them know. Okay, same concept. Okay, marketing is attracting leads. It costs you money, okay? That's sending out postcards, which, by the way, through Command, super easy and inexpensive. I love making postcards through Command. You get into designs, you just plop the stuff in there and they mail it out for you. You never have to worry about it. So postcards around, letting them know that it's either coming soon. If you have coming soon available, you can let them know about the open house itself. I highly recommend you do it a week in advance minimum, okay? Because it's got to have time to get mailed and you don't want it to show up the day after the open house. That always stinks, okay? Okay, signs. All right, what this one is talking about is if you're in an area that is really saturated with other brokerages, signs. Now, tell me a little bit about your market because I want this to be relevant to you. What kind of market share does KW have in your area?
I don't know that.
Any clues?
They're probably at the top.
Okay, so you guys are pretty saturated out there with KW? Yes, okay, we'll go with that. Let's say you're in a neighborhood where you have 2 Coldwell Banker agents that live there, and that one particular neighborhood of like 3 blocks by 3 blocks is really saturated with them. That would be these green signs that you see here on the screen. Your listing is right in the middle. Obviously, you've got other things going on here, so all of those little arrows are open house signs, guys. Notice where they're placed. They are close by those other listings. So if someone else is driving around on Sunday and they happen to see that other open house or that other listing and they see an open house sign, they're going to drive and follow the signs to come and see yours. Does that make sense? Yes? Excellent. Okay. Pretty easy. Okay, signage design. Guys, this is one of the massive benefits of being with Keller Williams. Now, for those of you on a team, obviously your team is going to have their signs. However, if you are an individual agent, you get to make your own signage. You get your own branding. This is kind of a big deal, and it is very, very important that people see your name. If you're on a team, it's going to be the team name. This is all about staying top of mind. Now, virtually, that means your name or your team name needs to be very prominent on anything that you produce and post, okay? It's really, really important that we're paying attention to that. They want to see your name because they want to know. So then if they walk into someone else's open house, right? And they go, yeah, I have an agent. And they go, oh, do you know their name? And they go, oh, what's the name of that agent? Oh yeah, it's Lee. Yeah. Lee McKim, that's my agent. Hey, at least they remembered you, right? It's progress. So you really, really want to make sure that you're out there and branded. Make sure that you're putting them at all of the main intersections. You ideally only want to have about 3 turns. Now, there is a thought that your signs should go out the night before. I don't do it. I have been told that putting them out the night before can be very beneficial. However, in my experience, that's how you end up with stolen signs, because people like to take them and use them for garage sales. So what I like to do is roll out of bed Sunday morning, take my open house signs, stop by the dollar store because it's the best place for Mylar balloons, which last longer.
Yes.
You tie your Mylar balloons on, you go put your signs out around 8:30 in the morning. I've got my Starbucks cup. I look like I just rolled out of bed because I did. I throw those signs out, then I go back home and I do my morning thing and I get ready and then I go to my open house. You have to make sure that the time is posted on the listing, open Sunday 1 to 4. Otherwise, people start knocking on the door at 10 a.m. Okay, that part clear? Cool. Okay. You do need a ridiculous amount of signs, guys. My first order of signs was 6. That was not enough. You definitely want to have at least 12 open house signs. Make sure that your name is there. Make sure you're using really awesome, colorful balloons. 10 plus signs, depending on the neighborhood. There are restrictions. Guys, if you're going to work out of your area, okay, I have sold in a lot of counties. I've sold a couple of properties in San Leandro, for instance. The rules down there are different than they are up here. So please, if you're selling in an area that you're unaware, or if you're new, please ask around. Find out what the limitations are, because there are places that limit you to a certain amount of signs or a certain type of open house sign. If you put an open house sign on someone's private property because they happen to own the corner, be prepared for that sign to be in the dumpster. Just saying, you gotta ask permission, okay? Let's see here, and then make sure your phone number's on there. Okay, make sense? Yes? Excellent, moving on. All right, do we need to play this game? You guys know that these are black and white and not very, like, helpful signs, right? So how would you improve these? Add some color. Yeah, okay. All right, ideas for promoting. So I told you this is from 2015, right? Local and metropolitan newspapers. I'm pretty sure people still check the paper. However, I find in our area that it is very expensive to place a newspaper ad, whereas I would rather take that same money if I'm going to spend money to advertise, and I would rather do direct mailing, right? Put it in the MLS, make sure that it's going out to all of the third-party sites, make sure that it's aggregating correctly, right? And then you're gonna market it, put it on Craigslist, man. It is free, okay? Craigslist is absolutely free and a great way to be able to post and get more advertising out. And you can post a new ad every single day. Use a different picture, it gains more traction. All right, openhomestoday.com. There you go. And then obviously, if you have a coach and you're taking classes like this, you're on the right track, right? Ask around, that's the joy of our culture, okay? We have open house checklists, which I will be happy to email to you. All right, talking about building trust. Okay, we talked about this a little bit earlier. It's asking questions that really find common ground between you and your prospective buyer or seller. Yes? Talked about that. It really truly is asking open-ended questions, right? And getting to know who they are and finding that common ground with them, because people like to work with people that they have something in common with. And it can be something as simple as skydiving or biking. Up here, like, competitive bicycling is a thing. You know, what kind of, are you a wine drinker? Because this is a wine cellar. Like, you can find things to find that common ground, because once you build that rapport and once you become friendly with them, then they want to work with you. Ellen, did you have a question?
It wasn't kind of related about this, but I'm just thinking in the back of my head.
Yeah.
You've done, you know, have had experiences with open houses. What is like the seasonality of it? I know COVID has messed up everything, but say if it was just normal times, what is like the seasonality of open houses and how people actually come through versus wintertime and summertime?
So I'm glad you asked that question, actually. This is a conversation that we just had in our team meeting Monday. We don't live in Wisconsin. We don't have snow. Like, it rains, what, 32 days out of the year? Like, real rain, not that little, right? Like, honest to goodness rain. It's maybe 30 some odd days out of the year. I can honestly tell you, even when it's raining, we get people through open houses. It's how well you advertise them, okay? Okay, correction. If the place is burning, people don't show up. If there are active fires in the area, don't do an open house. Sorry, I speak from experience. When it comes down to it, you guys, seriously, we're in Northern California. our weather is so mild, unless it is torrential downpour or hailing out, you're gonna be fine. I find that agents believe in seasonality more than consumers do. What does that mean for you?
Focus on the consumers and not my personal beliefs.
Yeah, right? It's a limiting belief. We don't have to winterize houses here. And if all of the other agents think that there's a seasonality and they stop doing open houses in November and December, but you are, that's more consumers for you, right? So I hope that addresses the question of seasonality for you.
Thank you.
Perfect. You're very welcome. All right, so building your trust, building rapport, buyers and sellers, you want to find that common ground with them so that they like you, right? It's kind of like dating. You got to put yourself out there and find something that you can connect with, okay? All right, be consistent with everything you do, guys. This business is it's not difficult. It's simple, right? Find the lead, follow up with the lead, follow up with the lead, follow up with the lead, close the lead. Okay? If you are consistent in what you do, you're gonna be fine. Now, when I got into this business, I was anti-scripts. Hardcore anti-scripts. I don't want to sound like a robot. I don't want to be a salesperson. That is not my thing. That is not why I'm here. Guess what industry I came from? I managed a restaurant for 8 years. Guess what I can do still to this day, 5 years after I quit that restaurant? I can still list off every salad dressing that they have. Why? Because it's a script. Because I internalized it. You laugh, but I can do it. Okay? I've gone to fill in on shifts when they need help, and they're like, because I was there for so long. And I can still tell you what's in the tri-tip mountain and which burger is the best, right? Because you internalize those scripts. And you know what? I never sounded like I was trying to sell anybody. I was trying to help them. I was giving them information. Oh, you really like barbecue sauce and bacon? Here's the best dish for you. Guys, it's the same thing. Okay, you need to internalize the scripts that are provided for you and then tweak them to make them your own. All right, well, someone else may ask about, you know, did you hear about this open house through Facebook or Instagram, right? I will use that same thing and say, how did you find our open house today, right? Same concept, same script-ish, different tweak. Make sense? Okay, so script or no script, always go for script. Because really, do you really truly want to be practicing on people that conceivably can earn you a $15,000 to $20,000 commission? Or would you rather be practicing on the people on your team or people within your office or your dog? Practice on them. It's not going to cost you any money. Okay? Okay. You do want to think about what your guests are looking for. Okay? If you're in a condo area with really bad schools, you're probably not going to have a family of 6 looking for high-end schools coming through that property. Okay? So think about what they're looking for and find those key points. Right? Oh, well, this condo has this particular condo building has a ton of professional people who work here, and it's really quiet at night, and the internet's amazing. Right? Find hot buttons. Okay. We've talked about the building report. If you've ever worked in any kind of hospitality of any sort, it's the same thing. Right? It's anticipating their needs before they know, understanding the area that you're in, and then knowing that they're probably looking for high-speed internet because they're going to work from home, right? Understanding that they probably are moving there for the amazing schools if it's the top-rated school district, right? Even if it's not because they have kids, it's because they like the resale value. It's understanding those pieces and understand why they're coming to you and then anticipate those needs so they think you're a mind reader. Make sense?
Right.
Perfect. You ask about the needs, right? Is it just, okay, you can't say, do you have kids, right? That sounds intrusive. You're going to say, how many people will be living in the home? Where do you spend time in the home? What makes sense for you? Is 3 bedrooms enough? They're going to give you more information. And when they tell you, oh yeah, 3 bedrooms could work. I mean, we would have to have bunk beds. They probably have kids, right? Unless Mr. and Mrs. just like bunk beds, whatever. But you can make these inferences from the information that they give you. Ask the who, what, when, where, why. Dig deeper, okay? Channel your internal Shrek and dig into the onion, all right? Peel back the layers and understand more so that you get to the core of who they are and why they're looking at that house. Touring the home. Now, obviously, when you're doing this virtually, you're going to be able to take your virtual tour and walk them through and tell them about it and stop anywhere as if you were walking through the home. You do want to understand who the people are that are coming through. You do definitely want to get their information. Now, when you're doing that online, you're going to be inviting them through, it is Eventbrite. You send out the invitations through Eventbrite, okay? The reason you do that is they have to register, and when they register, they have to give you their email and their phone number, okay? So for online virtual open houses, you're going to advertise it with that Eventbrite link. They're going to have to register for it, then you know how many people you can expect having. Okay. Now, when you're doing this in person, obviously they're going to come in whenever the heck they feel like coming in, and you got to be able to answer their questions quickly. You need to be able to qualify them quickly by understanding their needs, and you do absolutely want to get their information. I have found, first of all, it's not difficult to get people to sign in. It is even less difficult to get people to register on an iPad or some other type of tablet. Okay. Tablet stand with the tablet attached so they can't walk away from it, with a sign that states, seller has requested everyone register for safety purposes only. Now, back in the good old pen and paper sign-in days, my spiel goes like this. Hey guys, thank you so much for coming through the open house. The seller's asking that everyone signs in. Just for security concerns, I promise not to harass you unless you ask me to. That's it, right? I usually get a giggle out of it, right? Every once in a while, if they're younger, I'll throw in a pinky promise, right? It's whatever you're feeling like in the moment and how much caffeine I've had that day.
Okay.
When it comes down to it, be yourself. I don't expect you to have the same type of mannerisms that I would. However, you can use the same scripts that I use. You need to be able to tell them something amazing about the home as soon as they walk in, okay? That home that I told you about that we had 103 people through, it was all completely original, right? They walked in, the whole thing happens about how did you hear about the open house, sellers asking everyone to sign in. Awesome, thank you so much. Don't miss the velvet brocade wallpaper in the master bathroom. It's amazing. Now, I'm not joking, right? I actually think it's super cool. I love vintage stuff. You don't have to love it, right? But it's something cool and interesting, and it's further in the house. So they've got to go look for it, right? And now they've got that in their head, and then they're going to go find it. And as they come back through where you're standing, you're able to go, did you find it? Isn't it cool? And you're going to be able to tell a lot about them in that moment. Oh my God, that was atrocious, right? Other response, that is amazing, and I'm totally tearing it out, right? Oh my God, it reminds me of the house I grew up in. Pick one, right? But you're gonna get a response, okay? It's little things like that. I also like to hide little pictures in little places down low for kids to find, because kids in open houses are distracting as all get out. But if they have something to look for, then it keeps them busy so mom and dad can actually look around. So if you say, all right, now as you go through, I want you to find the monkey sticker in every bedroom. Can you do that? See how many monkeys you can find. Simple, It's simple, okay? Keep it positive no matter what, even if the house stinks and looks like trash and there's holes in the floor. Hey,
Very good.
it's got good ventilation, right?
That's really
Find your
smart.
positive spin.
That's very smart.
All right. Let's see here. Ask them what they need. Get what they need to them. Follow through, right? This is the same deal with the virtual. Don't give them anything in hand. One of my favorite things, I had an agent tell me that they did a long time ago, is they would never produce more than one flyer. Just one. They didn't spend money on flyers. They had one, they stuck it in a plastic flyer holder. It was right there. And the answer, even to the first guest through, was, oh my gosh, I'm already out of flyers. Can I drop one by for you when we're done here? I'm gonna go make some more. Or can I email it to you? My personal favorite spin on it is, oh, you know what? That's my last one and I need to hold on to it, but I can text you a copy right now. What's your cell? I mean, come on. They want the flyer, right? Now, if they're smart, they'll take a picture of it with their phone. However, you'd be amazed how many times people will give up their cell phone number. Okay?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Ask for business, right? If this is you, you can totally do this. So you ready to buy a house? Right? I got a contract right here. How much are we going to offer? You do you, right? I personally got into this business to help people, right? I got into it to meet people's needs, not to sell, right? I hate salespeople, nothing personal if you're a salesperson. It's not me, right? So for me, it's, does this house fit your needs, or is there something you would change? It's an either or close, right? Because then they go, oh, well, it's perfect, except I need one more bedroom. Now I know they need a 4-bedroom, and then I'm going to turn around, because I did my research at the beginning, and go, you know what, I actually have a list of all the 4 bedrooms, and I have a few that are vacant. I can show you as soon as we're done here. Right? How does this house work for you? Does this fit your needs, or what would you change? Oh, it's absolutely perfect. We really, really like it. Well, you know, we've had 65 people through today, and there are a few who are super interested. Do you have an agent that you're going to call to write that for you, or do you want me to meet you at my office as soon as we're done here and we can put that together? It's easy. You just have to have those scripts in your brain, and always, always, always open-ended, either or, right? Never a closed question. Okay? Okay. Referrals, right? There are lots of people that go through and look for family members out of the area. Yeah. So they're coming through, hey, what'd you think of the house? Oh, well, you know, we actually are just kind of looking. Awesome. Who do you know that might love this house? Because I promised the sellers I would find an amazing buyer to move in, right? I promised the neighbors that we would find an awesome, awesome buyer who's going to bring value to the neighborhood. Don't ever tell them you're going to find a great family, because if an investor buys it, then you didn't follow through. You got to be really careful with that. Okay? Okay. Always make sure and thank them, right? Thank you so much for coming through. It was a pleasure meeting you. I look forward to talking with you soon. I'm going to follow up in the next day or so if you have any other questions, okay? Nice and simple. Also, please take notes. Unless you're amazing and have a memory that I really wish I did have, take them down. If you need to take notes on your phone, go for it. Evernote is great for that. If you prefer to write it down, that's totally fine. We have a lot of people who choose to use cards for people to fill out, right? And they physically fill out what they thought of the home and if they think the price is right. And then they give you that card, and then you make notes about the person on the back. Those are always helpful. You have lots of options. You really, really have lots of options, but make sure that you're taking notes, because you need to be able to follow up. Now, when you are done, I'm going to go off script for a second here. When you're done with that open house, okay, whether it's in person or virtual. Now let's talk about in person first. When you're finished with the open house, You put everything back where you found it. You clean up any messes that might have been made, any cookie crumbs, right? Don't do chocolate chip cookies, by the way. They get everywhere. Pick something else, anything else. Don't do crummy food. Pack up everything, put everything back the way that it was when you first got there. Turn off all the lights. Make sure you lock doors that were locked. Leave doors that were not locked unlocked. There's nothing worse than coming home to your house after an open house and not being able to get in through the garage because someone locked that door, okay? Go pick up your signs and then call your listing agent, okay? Call your listing agent and let them know how many parties you had through, if there were any super interested parties, if you're going to, you know, possibly be writing an offer on the property. These are all pieces of information that you absolutely need to do. And then when you get home, you are not done. When you get home, you then need to be following up with scripts. You need to be either writing thank you notes if you got a physical address, which I doubt, right? You need to be sending emails with the information that you promised you would send them. You need to call and ask if they saw any other open houses that they might want to go back and see, take a second look at. Whatever way you can reach out to them, definitely be reaching out to them the same day, because guess what? If you don't, someone else will. Okay? All right. There are lots and lots of scripts. We've kind of talked about that. I'm happy to send you scripts that we have available. You really need to be in control of the conversation. So asking those open-ended questions and then asking a question about their answer will lead you to being in control of that conversation. Okay, now that's whether you're in person or online. All right, if you're doing a virtual open house, when you're done with that virtual open house, you need to then follow up and do what you said you were going to do, which is sending them whatever information afterward and thank them for coming and see if there's any questions that they might have had or any other homes that might work for them. You can send them that as well. Okay. Let's see here. We've kind of gone over that stuff. We don't have enough people for script role play. Where are we? Okay. We've talked about the follow-up, right? You definitely need to follow through on what you say, right? I think we've covered this like 8 times at this point, right? Any idea why? Because it's like the most important piece.
It's important.
It really is. Ellen, what's your question?
So I'm just like forward thinking here. So say if you had like an open house and 100 people came by, and with each of those conversations, you were like, oh, I'm going to send you this after, this person was asking for this, and someone else asked for something else. How do you kind of remember and maintain like the order of, so do you have like a system that you use? Or, okay.
So I'm a physical note taker. I carry this book with me everywhere. It's a 5-section notebook that is divided into different sections. I've got, obviously, because it's a 5-section notebook, I've got a section for buyers, I've got a section for sellers, I've got a section for personal to-dos, business to-dos, and then just my general notes section. So when I do an open house, I go to that particular property's page, and then I take notes about any buyers that have come through. So I will write down Susie Smith, right? Put down her phone number because she gave it to me on the sign-in sheet or sign-in card, or if she registered on an iPad, then I'm going to be able to pull that information. If you can get them to register on your actual landing page, which is really super awesome, you can create a landing page in Command, and there's already a sign-in spot there, and that feels really organic, and people are comfortable doing that, much more so than handwriting it. But you can take that information, and then I'll say, send flyer, text app, follow up in 3 days, right? Now you can also do that within Command yourself. Once they sign in, so let me take you through it. You set up a landing page for that open house, okay? It's gonna have the contact information, right, for them to fill out. It's gonna have the listing information, and it's gonna have your information. That's it. You only need those 3 widgets, right? When they walk in, they register, they type in their information, it automatically goes into Command. So literally, as they're walking around the house, you can pull up Command on your phone, and you can start taking notes in contacts. Okay, you can absolutely streamline that. Okay, that's a really, really easy way to keep it all consolidated in one space. For me, for my memory, I have to write things physically. That's just how my brain works. So for me, I write it down and then I transpose it into Command when I get home. That works better for my brain and it cements that person in my memory. But if you're not that kind of person, by all means, do it the easy way and just plop that sucker straight into Command. Okay. Also, you need to keep in mind that if you're supposed to email 55 people the flyer, BCC is your friend. Right? Send it from you to you, BCC all the people, send one email, not 55. Right? And it's not, hi, Joe, hi, Susie. Hi. No. It's, hey, it was so great to meet you today at the open house. Thank you so much for stopping by. I promised you that I would send this, and now here it is. Please let me know if you have any conversations, any questions about this. I'm going to follow up with you with a couple of more properties in the next week or so. Set a reminder, give yourself a task in Command to follow up with them. Okay? Cool. Okay, follow up. That's really what it is. Agents who come through, guys, profit share is free money. Okay? If you have an agent come through your listing during an open house, A, they're probably new and don't have their e-key access yet. Okay, that's one that I see a lot. The other one is they're previewing. They probably work with a lot of buyers. You want to be friends with these people. Anyone who comes through, they're probably going to hand you a business card. You're going to take every business card that you get and you're going to send them a handwritten note. Thank you so much for coming through my listing. What did you think of the price? What did you think of the condition? Do you have any buyers that fit this property? Okay, simple, build relationships. Okay, we've talked about the importance, obviously, buyers who are going to buy, sellers who are going to list, haven't Mets that'll be converted to Mets, which eventually will turn into future business, agents who can be recruited, and all of them want to do business with you because they like you, because you're personable, and you didn't have commission breath when they walked in. Okay? Okay, be the number one agent. All right, the idea, guys, right? You need to be the number one version of you. You need to be the best version of you. And when you get to that open house, seriously, you need to leave your crap at the door, okay? Leave whatever's going on in your world at that front door and turn it on. You are auditioning for every person who walks in there. Your goal is, yes, to sell that house. Your goal is also to find buyers who want to work with you, and to find sellers who want to list with you, and wow agents at what an amazing open house you have. And why? Because of the training at Keller Williams, and now they want to come over and work with Keller Williams and be in your downline. These are your goals, okay? All of this can be done virtually. You can't shake their hand, they can't smell your commission breath, they can hear it, okay? Eventbrite, for your invitations, requires them to register. Advertise it a week ahead of time. Do a Zoom walkthrough, and you literally do what we're doing right now. You share your screen, you walk them through the 3D tour, and you take them on a tour through the house as if you were walking there with them. And then you follow up. Questions? All right. I think we're a little early. You've heard me talking for the last hour and a half. You've got to be sick of it. All right, so you guys, I really appreciate you being here. When it comes down to it, open houses are not difficult, okay? If you guys, let's see, I'm just checking the chat right now. Let's see here. Oh, question about cameras and video. Yes, 100%. First of all, I always assume I'm being recorded. Most people have like a Ring doorbell, right? Whatever you say, and I tell my buyers that before we go into properties, for those of you that are new, by the way, I tell them at the car, assume you're being recorded, okay? And just in case you do decide you want to buy this house, you better not say anything bad about it where they can hear it. Always say everything truthful and positive. Okay? Always find the positive spin, because the last thing you want to do is make a really bad impression on a seller when you weren't the listing agent and get that listing agent in trouble, and then they don't want you to hold their open houses anymore. That would stink. Okay? Let's see here. Yes, I will be happy to email the scripts. You guys all put those in there. I am going to hold on to that. Okay. Any other questions before I let you go? Nope. All right, cool. Well, it was a nice, intimate class. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you guys got something out of it.
Great.
Thank you so much, Danielle.
Yeah,
You're
very nice.
so very welcome. Your emails will not come out to you probably until tomorrow. I have a listing that I need to go sign. So,
Oh, great. Wonderful.
okay.
All right.
All right. Thanks so much, you guys.
Okay. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Have a great afternoon.
Mhm.
You too.
Thank you.